Welcome back to another video with the Clueless Car Guy. Now today we're going to do a full cost breakdown of all the money I've spent on this car in the 6 months I've had it. That's going to include tax, insurance, modifications, maintenance, and if I can work it out, petrol too. So first off, the important part is how much did I actually spend on this car? So this Fiesta ST is 2015. It was on 45,000 miles. It had a few modifications that I already wanted, and I opted to pay a bit more from a reputable garage because I wanted a bit of reassurance after some issues I had with a previous private sale. I paid £9,000 for this car. Now I know there's some people thinking that that's quite a lot of money for a Mark 7 Fiesta ST, and it's strong money for sure, but I was adamant that I wanted to find a very clean example, and I think that's what I got. Obviously, I had all the health checks, all passed with flying colours, and the garage was quite impressed with how clean the car was and that common issues they saw, this one didn't actually have. So what about tax and insurance? So to tax these cars, I believe it's £190 for the year. So it's really not bad, and I'm quite used to paying 400 quid on the previous Audis that I had. And how much for insurance? So I'm currently with Keith Michael's insurance and I pay 900 quid for the whole year, everything declared. And I think the excess is about 350 quid. Okay, and what about maintenance on these cars? So what I've had to do in terms of maintenance is full service, change the cam belt, and I mean, that's pretty much it, actually. Everything else I've done have just been modifications. So in terms of maintenance, the cam belt was £520, I believe, and the full service was £350. So in maintenance, I've spent about £850. And actually, there was like a rear seam on the gearbox or something that they also replaced, and I think that was about £100. So what about petrol? Now this is a bit more difficult to work out, but I'd say I spend about £60 a week. So you're looking at 240 a month, and that's about 1,500 for the 6 months that I've had it, I believe. Now I get quite good mileage on this car. It's at an average of 36 miles per gallon at the moment. Obviously, if you have a very heavy foot, you're going to spend more in petrol. Now let's go through every modification, and just so you're aware, there's quite a lot of mods on this car that had already been done, and I'm not going to include them in the price. That was the advantage of getting a car that had a few mods on them. But otherwise, I'm going to go through every one, talk about the labour it cost and how much the item cost. So coming to the engine bay, we had a stage 2 AirTech intake. I already had the Voodoo pipe, so it was just under £200. There was no labour because I fit it myself. Here we have the Symposer delete. I believe that was £20, and again I did it myself, so no labour. That just stops the boost noise coming into the cabin, which I thought might help with my drone. And then we have down here, under there, is a short shifter, which was a used item I bought for £20, and I fit that myself, and that has made quite a big difference for such a cheap modification. And behind there, there is a Stage 3 AirTech intercooler. Now that cost me, fully fitted, £650 brand new. And the reason I went brand new was basically just because I didn't want to have to deal with potentially damaged second-hand ones. And I did have a second-hand one sorted, but the guy kind of flaked on me last minute, and I just wanted to get the work done. And while we're talking about that, we might as well talk about the tune, which I believe was around £550 for a Stage 2 tune. Then coming to the side of the car, we had lowering springs, which were £190, and it cost me £200 to get them fitted. I thought about doing it myself, but I wasn't really too confident, to be honest. And then down here, we have the SD spacers, which are £170 for all four corners, and I fit them myself. They're very easy to fit. Anyone can do it. And tyres. So this probably comes under maintenance, really, because it's not really a modification. But the tyres are Goodyear asymmetric 6s, and I believe they were £440 fully fitted. And then coming to the back, we've got a Miltech non-res race exhaust. I already had a Cobra on there, so it just cost me £100 to switch it for a used Miltech one from a breaker, and I paid them 50 quid to fit it for me while I was there. And also, staying down here, down there is a white line anti-roll bar, which improves the handling. That was £190 and very easy to fit myself. And the last couple things are under there, but you got the Collins torque mount, which was about £115, and the garage fit it for free because it's very easy to fit. And then also we got polybush the rear axle, which I believe was £180 fully fitted. So all in all, I've actually just worked it out, and I'm quite depressed, to be honest, because that somehow works out at £6,500 in 6 months. I have gone quite heavy on modification. I don't know how it's worked out to that. I mean, I guess the petrol tyres and all the work I had done recently was already at £4,000, so it makes sense. So around £6,500. The car was £9,000. So all in all, I'm at like £15,500 on a Fiesta ST. Take that as you will. It's the mad things we do because we love cars. If you're enjoying these videos, then please do subscribe. I hope that gives you a good idea of how much it might cost for you to run a Fiesta ST or mod a Fiesta ST. Yeah, more videos coming soon. Peace out.